First, the banks. After PPI, £8 billion paid out in compensation, another scandal. This time package accounts, where for a monthly fee, the banks throw in a host of added extras. But a Watchdog investigation reveals that some customers are not even aware they have one of these accounts. So far, the Financial Ombudsman has found a case of mis-selling in 75% of the complaints received.
It used to be that choosing a bank account was simple. You just pick the one with the best interest rate. But nowadays, thanks to the package bank account, there's a lot more to think about.
Agree to pay a monthly fee, anything from £5 to £25, and your bank will give you a whole host of special treats on top of its normal services. So, for example, in exchange for £10 a month, one bank will give me a flexible overdraft, plus travel insurance, mobile phone insurance, and even a subscription to a film rental service.
The benefits change from account to account, but on paper, if you can afford the payments, some of these packages can look very attractive.
But be warned, because appearances can be deceiving. It's thought as many as 1 in 5 package bank accounts may have been missold, with many of the optional extras failing to deliver what was promised.
The Financial Ombudsman Service, the authority that deals with banking complaints, say they are receiving more than 70 new cases every week, and numbers are expected to keep going up.
And they're so concerned about these rising numbers that they've agreed to talk to us.
This is Natalie Seeney. She's the Chief Ombudsman.
Package bank accounts have been sold for roughly a decade, and actually the Ombudsman Service has been quite concerned about them for some time, for a range of reasons. The regulator, the FCA, took action at the beginning of this year to require all banks to tell customers what they're buying. And I think a lot of customers are now looking at what they're buying and saying, good grief, have I been paying for this for the last 5 or 6 years? And as a result, a lot of people are now coming to complain and saying, I don't think this is what I should have been buying.
One of the main areas of complaint are the insurance policies that come with the packaged accounts.
A lot of the insurance cover may not be as generous as if you bought that policy on its own. And most customers don't understand that. You look at the title and think you know what a policy covers.
Rebecca James upgraded to a silver account with Lloyds TSB, specifically because it offered insurance for her mobile phone. For £8 a month, she thought she'd be covered no matter what happened. But when her mobile was stolen, she realised she was wrong.
I had a letter back from Louise TSB saying that they'd rejected my claim. The reasons for rejecting the claim was that my phone had been stolen from a place where people other than my immediate family had access.
The insurer pointed to a clause buried deep in her terms and conditions that made clear she wouldn't be covered in these circumstances. But the existence of such clauses wasn't made clear to her when she was sold the insurance by Lloyds, and it was only after she disputed this that she got her payout.
I do feel that banks such as Lloyds do have a duty to explain to people explicitly what they are not covered for.
And the Ombudsman agrees.
There's an obligation on the banks when selling package bank accounts to just explain what the cover is, because there may be limitations in the small print, and it's actually the obligation of the bank to make sure the customers understand those limitations.
Not being able to claim for a stolen mobile phone is one thing. Not being able to claim when your health depends upon it is another entirely, because it seems serious errors are also being made when banks are signing up customers to packages with travel insurance. The Ombudsman has seen many such cases. In one, a man with a serious liver condition bought his package account specifically because he was told he'd be covered for travel insurance. It was only when his consultant recommended he check his policy that he discovered that not only was he not covered, he hadn't been for a very long time.
He went back and checked, and sure enough, the bank said, oh no, our policy never covers liver conditions. And yet the bank gave us no evidence when we investigated this complaint that they'd ever asked him to declare previous medical conditions. So he'd actually been not insured for 8 years for all his holidays, and yet he'd been specifically looking for a product that covered him. And in that case, of course, we found in the consumer's favour.
But the cases the Ombudsman's receiving aren't just about the mis-selling of the additional extras. Some people say their banks have signed them up for premium package accounts without even telling them. Take David Barnes. He only realised he had one last July when he noticed NatWest had taken £12.95 from his account. He'd no idea they'd done the same thing every single month for the previous 7 years.
I had no idea what it was for, and I thought perhaps somebody cracked into my computer, and I looked into it. Actually, it was the bank. And when I phoned them, I was absolutely astounded when they told me this has happened since 2005, and it was for upgrading my current account.
When he complained, NatWest refused his claim. They said he must have been made aware his account had been upgraded, so he took his case to the Ombudsman.
After 1 year, they won the case, got all the money back that I had calculated, plus interest, and that was £1,400.
We have found a number of cases where consumers just didn't realise they had a package bank account. Sometimes that's because it was just added to their account. And in many cases, actually, these charges weren't described very accurately. So you might have got a statement that had the word charge. You might assume that's an overdraft charge, whereas it actually might have been your package bank account charge. So even if you studied your statements quite carefully, you may not have known you got it.
The Financial Ombudsman is now settling in favour of the customer in more than 70% of cases. And with so many other potential victims out there, we could be on the verge of yet another major scandal for the banks.
For some customers, they're quite a good idea, because for a fee you get a whole range of things that actually might have cost you more if you'd gone around and shopped around. But the fact that we are finding that 3/4 of consumers' cases we look at, actually there was a problem, suggests that something went quite wrong on package bank accounts. And we have to get over this culture in banking where people can be sold products that they didn't need and couldn't use. And we really do need banking to clean up its act.
Louise Hulland reporting there.